PodMoth.
Welcome to Freaky Fridays,
where we talk about all kinds of scary, spooky, freaky shit.
We're your hosts, Michelle
and Melissa.
And tonight, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Tonight we're talking about fucking weird shit that happens in the woods. Anything that happens in the woods is creepy.
Yeah, the woods are beautiful during the day, and then night falls.
Yes. But you know, as our friends over at My Favorite Murder say, stay out of the forest. Well, this first little story I'd like to tell you about, Michelle.
Yes, please do. I got my candles lit. I got my wine.
You got your wine going? All right, I got my rosé going. The title of this story is called For What Felt Like Forever, It's Just Me and Some Stranger in a Ski Mask Looking at Each Other in the Desolate Woods in the Middle of Winter at 3 a.m.
Fuck that.
First of all, before I even get into this, I want to know, why are you in the desolate woods in the middle of fucking winter and at 3 a.m.? Why? It's not only is it the middle of winter, it's fucking freezing and I'm sure snowing outside.
Yeah, no.
It's 3 a.m. No good comes after 3 a.m.
Yeah, just go, force yourself to go back to sleep.
Yeah, just
pull the covers over your head because it keeps goats away.
Right. So this takes place in North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Starts out, it says, my cousins live in North Dakota and I spent the winter break there freshman year in college. Okay, so that sums up the story. You're a dumbass freshman in college. That's why you were outside at 3 a.m.
Right. I mean, we were all dumb at that age.
Right. We were at their friend's house one night drinking in her basement with some other girls, and it was really late, like 3 a.m. I was falling asleep, so I decided to walk home. Let me pause you right there. Why?
Were we that dumb?
I mean, when I was college age, I already had a child, so I wasn't out doing these things. So I want to know why a girl thought it was okay to walk home alone at 3 a.m. And if you were drinking, weren't you just like, fuck it, I'm going to pass out on the couch? I mean,
well, maybe she was drinking and that's when you get the really good ideas of
to go home
in the middle of the night.
That's true. But still.
I know I've been there, but I haven't done this. Okay, so.
So she decided to walk home. It says they live in a desolate area with lots of snow and it gets really cold.
Okay, then you don't walk home.
No shit, it gets cold in the snow? She says the houses weren't too far apart and when the moon is out, it seems light out. Okay, give her the benefit of the doubt. Still, 3 a.m., snowing, woods.
You're drunk.
The path we always take is straight behind the house through some wooded areas.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, no.
Then some more open land.
No.
And as I was shuffling home through the snow with my head down, why are you looking down? Why aren't you looking around at your surroundings?
Is this in the 70s or something?
I don't know. I look up and to the left, my 10 o'clock, at probably like 75 yards away, is another figure walking in the opposite direction at 3 a.m.
Right. You know, it's got to be okay.
Right. Sure. She says, I saw him for a split second before he saw me. And when he did, he kind of jerked his arms and shoulders up a little, obviously startled from the sight of me as I was with him. I laughed out loud for some reason, just for the shock or something, and gave him a little wave like, oh, you startled me, haha, sorry, kind of a thing. He just stood there and stared at me. I thought he was going to say something for a second, and so I stopped. He had a full-on face ski mask, and I could tell it was a dude because he was really tall. But he didn't say anything. He just stood there staring at me. So for what felt like forever, it's just me and some stranger in a ski mask looking at each other in the desolate woods in the middle of winter at 3 a.m.
Oh my God.
A huge chill went up my spine and a voice said, you need to get the fuck out of here right now.
Smartest part of the story I've heard.
Right? Like, where was that voice earlier when you thought it was okay to leave the goddamn house at 3 a.m. in the middle of winter in the desolate woods?
Oh man.
I turned and started walking as fast as I could. I have never been that scared in my life. I was a little drunk, stoned, and very paranoid. I imagined me walking home from the opposite perspective, and the man is running up from behind me with an axe. So I literally just scream and start sprinting as fast as I could all the way home, thinking that this guy could easily have followed my tracks in the snow, and I'm gonna get murdered. Luckily I didn't, but I don't think I'll be visiting them again anytime soon.
No.
There's so many things creepy about that, aside from the fact that she was dumb enough to leave the house in the snow at 3 a.m. in the desolate woods. And then there's all this other open land that she talks about.
Right.
Which to me makes it sound like there's no one else around for miles, right?
Exactly.
Is my guess. And then
any wooded area and then an opening is too far for me. Unless you like literally can go outside and hop, skip, and jump over to the next house, I'm not leaving.
Absolutely not, especially if I've been drinking and it's 3
Okay.
First of all, it's 3 a.m. and it's cold and snowy. I wouldn't get up if I had to pee if it was that cold and 3 a.m. Do you know what I mean? I would not go outside the house and try to walk home in the desolate woods. Then to come across someone who just stood there. I mean, obviously he was up to no good, right? Or you would have thought he would have waved back and been like, "Oh, you scared me too." Or
like especially in North Dakota, aren't they like really nice out there? I mean,
I don't know. Never been.
They're very nice, so you would think they'd give a little wave.
Wave back. Yeah. Oh, I was just having a beer at my buddy's house on my way home.
Just passing through this empty into the forest as well
with my full ski mask. I'm not waving back. Cool. I'm just standing here staring at you.
Yeah, that's...
I'm pretty sure she probably would have gotten murdered that night.
Oh, yeah.
Stay out of the woods, people, especially at 3 a.m. in the dead of winter.
And we've already talked about this. Scared of the dark. So if you're in a desolate area and you're about to go walk outside in the dark, I don't care how bright the moon is.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, I don't know.
It's not like a ghost apparition. That sounds like legit she could have been murdered.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know. It just gives off like a creepy feeling of like someone was watching her. Almost like, was this person waiting for someone to leave? Like, did this person know it was a house full of girls who had been hanging out?
What if he went there and like murdered everybody over there? Is there a follow-up story?
We might have heard about that, but I don't know. The whole thing feels creepy and pretty stupid on her part.
Yes. Let's not set ourselves up for murder.
No. So that's your first one, stranger in a ski mask.
Okay. So we just kind of found these online. You found these online.
Yes,
stories from people.
Creepy little mind was wandering around looking for scary shit.
At 3 a.m. in the morning outside in the woods?
Oh, no. I am sometimes up at 3 a.m., but I am not outside in the woods.
No, absolutely.
I'm in my bed, hoping that whoever's sleeping underneath it is not going to grab my feet if I do get up to go pee.
That's why you need to store stuff under your bed. I'm a big proponent of that.
Brian would never let me do that.
So for our listeners, do you have a freaky story you want to share?
If so, go to our website at freakyfridayspodcast.com, where you can email us or find us on Instagram at freakyfridayspod.
All right, let me tell you a story.
Please do.
It's called In the Middle of Nowhere in this remote cabin, someone starts knocking on the door. Doesn't say anything, just knocks.
I'm already scared. Do you want to know why I'm already scared just from that title?
Why?
Because it makes me think of that movie, The Strangers.
Oh my God. Yes, we should do The Strangers on an episode. Okay, so this person says, I'm not sure it counts as another human being because we didn't positively identify anyone. But a few years ago, my friend and I were staying in a small cabin my dad had on a remote piece of land in the Idaho wilderness.
There we go again.
There we go again. We're in the remote, desolate areas. Never a good start to a story. The nearest town was probably 50 miles away. Jesus. And the nearest active road that wasn't an old logging road was about 2 miles from the cabin. Who builds buildings out in these areas? My friend and I had been BSing and laughing in the cabin in our bunks, and it was about midnight. We had turned off the lantern and were trying to fall asleep when we heard something that sounded like someone had scraped the door.
Freddy fucking Krueger.
We both lifted our heads and mumbled a conversation of, did you hear something? Yeah, haha. Then in the middle of nowhere, in this remote cabin, someone starts knocking on the door. Doesn't say anything, just knocks.
Of course.
We were both in our 30s. That makes me feel better. We were both in our 30s, but we were so scared shitless we didn't say anything. Just laid there with our heads up staring at the door. That's what I would do.
Yep. I'd be under the bed staring though, with the blanket over my head.
Yeah, when you're just frozen. We didn't go out until it was light out again, and there was nothing near the door that would have tapped against it, and no animal tracks. It freaks me out even thinking about it.
It's like, again, it's such a simple story, but it's fucking freaky.
I know. If you could imagine
I've had that
at
happen to
midnight
me.
in the middle of nowhere, somebody knocking on the door.
Yes, and this was before we had our cameras, and I actually had to call.
Where you are right now?
Yes, and Brian was not home. The kids were teenagers, so they were out and about at this time, and it was just me, and it was before our cameras, and it was after midnight, and I ended up having to call Tony and asking him to come over because I was so afraid.
Oh shit.
And he comes over with a baseball bat. And he's like checking the backyard. And so I don't know if when his car pulled up, if whoever was knocking got scared and took off, but to this day, never knew who it was.
So it was knocking on the front door?
Yes.
Ugh.
Didn't say anything, but I was also too afraid to say anything back. Like I didn't say like, who is it or anything, because it was late.
I'm sorry. If I'm gonna go knock on somebody's door, it better be, one, it better be an emergency. Two, I'm going to say, knock, knock. Hello, it's so-and-so down. I'm your neighbor, blah, blah, blah. Please don't shoot me. Like, I'm going to announce myself. I'm going to state my business.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just a different kind of person than these weirdos that are coming.
Yeah. It just,
obviously,
it's that feeling. And that's why this story creeps me out, because it's just that feeling. It's like in that movie, The Strangers, they fucking come knocking in the middle of the night for no reason.
Right.
And they don't say anything. And it scares you. You freeze. You just don't know what to do.
And thank God for cameras now.
Yes, absolutely. Because at least now I can look at it and be like, who's knocking at my door?
Right. Public service announcement here, kids. Don't open the door to a knock without
in the middle of the night.
Especially in the middle of the night. Like, if you're expecting Domino's and it's knocking, you say, who is it?
I give these girls kudos for their bravery of just these two women staying out in this cabin in the middle of nowhere.
In their 30s. I would have been like, nope, Dad, sorry, not going with you. We'll stay at the Ritz-Carlton down the street.
No, not doing it. Like
50 miles away, the nearest town.
And near an old, I'm air quoting, an old logging road.
Yeah, what's a logging road? That sounds like something that's not
where logging trucks went through.
Right. So
that's
not a lot of activity. It's not going to be like a random car drives by.
Easily be buried out there.
Right. Very easily.
So far, out of 2 stories, what's the moral of the story, kids?
Don't go into the woods. Don't stay in desolate cabins.
And
don't leave in the middle of the night.
Yeah, just don't be dumb. Just stay home where it's safer for you.
Common sense. I would like to know what years these happened, because I feel like, but it's also the area, like Idaho, North Dakota, very different than where we grew up in California Bay Area.
Oh, definitely. We're very city-ish, and those are woods and open land and fucking logging roads.
We don't have logging roads.
And it snows. Creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to hear another story?
I do.
This one is short and sweet, I'd like to say.
Quote unquote sweet.
It's titled, All of a Sudden We Hear a Single Gunshot Followed by Absolute Silence. I don't know about you, but just silence, period, is creepy.
Yes, I always have to have some sort of noise on.
Yes.
Okay, let me preface that with, during the day, I like a little bit of silence. We also live in apartments, so I hear a lot of like other people's noises. But at night, I can't do silence.
Like when you go to bed.
Especially when I go to bed.
Hence your sound machine.
Yeah, when we slept together.
Not once.
We were sharing a bed.
But twice.
I had to put the sound machine on because I needed something to drown out that silence.
Yeah, I get it. Silence is just, it's creepy. It's like nighttime. It's just silence is
like
creepy.
your ears start looking. Your ears start searching for something to hear.
I liked looking first. I thought it was kind of
Like a
cool
little
that you
eyeball out
thought
of
our ears could
like,
see. Okay, well, in this one, you're going to get a year. It says, I camped in Northern California. Ooh, I wonder where this was. I camped in Northern California with a couple friends for about 3 months straight.
That's a long time of camping.
In 2012. That is a very long time camping.
2012, okay, so kind of new.
We are talking way out in the wilderness. God damn, these people they're not going to learn.
Nope.
The whole trip
They're not reading these other stories before they go camping.
People, these are the lessons we teach you so that you don't get murdered or kidnapped.
This is free public service announcements.
Yes.
Free to you.
Any child over the age of 2 should be listening to this right now. Please, I'm just kidding.
Fuck shit.
They go on to say the whole trip was a great success until we were heading south again. We set up camp a few miles outside of a tiny town, and it was getting dark. It's already getting bad. The only things the only things in this town were a long road, a gas station, a post office, and a bar.
Okay, turn around.
Get the fuck out of there, people.
I'd rather sleep in my car.
Nothing good comes of a town that only has a bar and a gas station.
Bar
and a post office.
The okay, the post office seems legit, but if you just have like one gas station, that's creepy.
In a long road?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, we hear screaming in the distance.
Out, done.
Yeah, bye-bye. We could discern 3 different voices, but they were far enough away, we couldn't quite make out what was being said. All of a sudden, we hear a single gunshot, followed by absolute silence.
Oh, jeez.
I opened my tent and looked over at my friends who were already out of their tent looking back at me.
I bet.
None of us said a word. We laid back down and tried to sleep. Scariest night of my life.
Yeah.
See, I told you it was short and sweet, but it's fucking scary.
Yeah. I've been camping a few times, and it's always been in campsites where there are multiple other campers, those clean bathrooms. Like I'm not
on some spiritual journey out in the middle of the fucking Amazon.
I mean, that's just not me. So I stick to where there's an actual toilet and I'm not squatting behind a bush.
Hell yeah.
But at night, I'd rather piss my pants than go anywhere without either a friend and a flashlight, or I'm
Bring some adult diapers with you. I mean, shit.
That's a great idea.
I'd rather do that. I'm not getting out.
Not sponsored by Poise.
I don't even, like I said, I don't even like getting out of my bed when I have to pee in the middle of the night for fear of putting my feet on the ground because someone's going to grab them.
Maybe we should get adult diapers for just every night.
For camping?
No. No, nobody's camping here. I'm past camping. It's RV time. We're too old for that shit.
Let's dive into the story a little bit more on our own.
Yeah.
If you were to take a guess at what happened in this loner little town where there was a lot of yelling, a single gunshot, and then absolute silence.
I want to know, like, did they research afterwards? 2012, did they watch the news? Was there anything that was like gunshots last night or a gunshot last night?
Don't know, and that's why it's scary. It could have been, there could have been so many scenarios. It could have been someone was kidnapped, or could have been fucking a corrupt town cop.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been the drug dealers. What are they called? Cartel. I mean, all kinds of things.
It could be anything. It could be people that were screaming and then somebody just shot a gun and everybody was like, oh shit, I better. And there could be no murder. I mean, if I want to look on the positive silver lining side.
Good for you.
But that's usually not the case.
Again, gunshot, silence, that's scary enough in itself.
I want to know where in Northern California, since we're from there, where this is.
It literally says WAAAAY, way out there.
So like borderline, Oregon or whatever is next?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I'm geographically not equipped to handle things.
If you listen to our hotel episode, we both are lucky to get home every day. Could not find our ways out of people. So
not only are we staying out of the middle of the woods, we are also staying out of small towns that are next to the woods, people.
If anything looks sketch,
don't do it.
Leave. Don't do it. Get the fuck out. Go home. Find a Howard Johnson.
Yeah.
Find a Motel 6. They leave the light on.
Find yourself a hotel, motel, holiday Inn.
Okay.
I need another one. Hit me.
we're on we're on the last one here. It's called sleeping bag. So automatically I'm freaked out. And one of the
Something
scariest
happened to you in a sleeping bag, Michelle?
one of the scariest things is I had such a hard time rolling sleeping bags when I was little.
They're a pain in the ass.
It was so slick and slippery, and I would try. I think I've always had this like OCD thing where I had to like line up the zipper and make sure it rolled and make sure it was tight because I wanted to make sure that the thing wrapped around the right way. It was
the ends weren't sticking out.
Yeah, I was like torturing myself when I was 7. So.
Did you ever have a sleeping bag that didn't have the strap and your parents made you tie it with shoestrings?
I'm sure. Actually, I think I did because I feel like I broke off the strings trying to tie them so tight. Those things were made out of like toilet paper. Okay, so this is called sleeping bag. I'm scared already. So this story goes. This happened to me when I was little. I was camping with my older brother and my mom. I was about 7 or 8, and I went to bed around 10 p.m. in a sleeping bag inside my tent with both my mom and brother. Hopefully each of them have a sleeping bag. Sometime during the night, I don't know when, I woke up somewhere in the middle of the woods, still in my sleeping bag. I had no idea where I was or where my tent was. I screamed for my mom and I heard her calling back for me in panic, but she was easily 100 yards away or so. How come all these people use yards? I have no idea what that means.
Neither do I.
All I don't like a yardstick and like 100 of them. So that seems really far.
It's a lot of sticks.
So she was easily 100 yards away or so. To this day, I have no idea how I ended up in the middle of the woods, still inside my sleeping bag. Gives me chills. Yeah, gives me chills too. Because I don't do the sleepwalking thing. I don't understand it. I don't think I can handle it well. I know that you have experience with this with your son. I have to commend this person for keeping the sleeping bag around them while. So it kind of reminds me of those potato sack races where you're like in your sleeping bag trying to walk.
See, my thought is that someone dragged her out by her sleeping bag.
Oh shit. Okay.
And left her in the middle of the woods.
Thank you for that.
I mean, I fully back the sleepwalking because that's where honestly where anyone's mind first would go is like, oh, she's sleepwalking.
No, but that is a very good point. But that doesn't make as much sense as somebody maybe dragging you.
I'm just thinking because you would think that if she was sleeping in a tent, which obviously isn't too large, with her mother and brother, right? Yeah. If she were to sleepwalk, it would have meant her actually she would have had to get up and get out of the sleeping bag. There's no way she could.
And that would have been very
ruffled and like noisy.
Yeah, and disturbing to be in the sleeping bag trying to get out of the tent. Yeah, you got a good point.
But if she was like dead asleep and someone reached in and just slid it out, I mean, because I did read a story before where this guy was camping with his friends and he had fallen asleep. They had taken a walk or something, I can't remember. And he said that twice something reached in and tried pulling him out by his foot. And he was getting pissed thinking it was his drunk friends.
Right.
But when they weren't even there when it happened. They had gone, I think they were camping somewhere where there's like, actual bars and things like that you could like walk to like into town or whatever.
Like, that's my kind of camp.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not hard for someone to open up a tent and get in there and just.
The zipper is not going to save you.
No, you could very quietly slide. Yeah. We'll have to try that sometime. I'm going to have you fall asleep in a sleeping bag and I'm going to try dragging you around and see if it wakes you up.
But you think like sleeping bags slick and slippery, it's probably easy to kind of slide somebody out of there, and then just leave them in the middle of the woods.
Or what if it was the brother? What if the brother was trying to get rid of the little sister? What if he's like, this little bitch gets everything, and he was trying to get rid of her, thinking that they'd never find her?
I'm an only child, so I completely support that.
I agree with her. It gives me the chills to think about too, because there's so many different things that it could be.
Right.
And there's also so many things that could have gone wrong in that situation. She slept all night, 100 yards away, which, like you said, is so many yardsticks. That's so far away.
I wonder what
there could have been animals feeding on her. I mean,
okay, 100 yards is about 300 feet. Wait, does that help?
No, I need to actually visualize it. So like, when they say it's the length of a football field. Wait, is that a football field length? I think it is.
360 feet. So, yes, you're right. It's almost a football field.
So, when you picture that out in the middle of the woods.
So creepy.
Well, I'm glad she survived the night to tell about it, though, because again, so many things could have gone wrong.
I need follow-ups on these. Can we find these people and get some follow-ups? Has anything else happened? What year was it? Where exactly was this so I can look up gunshots?
Well, there you have it. There's your ghost stories for this evening's.
I am so glad that I'm not going to bed tonight in the woods.
I'm glad I'm not going to bed in the woods ever.
Ever.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Did you ever go to camp as a kid?
Nope.
So
even sixth grade camp, I didn't do it. We didn't grow up camping. I've never been camping.
Oh my, neither have I. But my parents were like, "There's a camp for summer. Yeah, ship her off."
No, well, we couldn't really afford stuff like that, so we didn't go. But even like the sixth grade camp, I didn't go. It was just not. It didn't interest me whatsoever. I would like to go camping, but I'd like to do it with a trailer and air conditioning and have a boat to go in the water and
yes.
That a bar nearby.
Glamping.
Sure.
And that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to rough it, then
I'm not roughing it.
More power to you. But I will rough it during the day, and I want to go back to the niceties at night.
Yeah, I want my down pillow and my TV to watch and the comforts of home. I just didn't grow up doing that, so I don't know what to expect. So I guess I can't say I would never do it, but I don't know that I would willingly want to actually try either.
It's interesting to me that people that, just because I'm not like this, that are like, let's go camping out in the wood, like let's get a tent and let's camp out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, no, why? Animals,
bugs,
murders,
the
raccoons, ghosts,
ants.
All kinds of, there's so many. There's a hotel right down the street. Why would you want to do that?
There's coyotes, people.
Yes.
No.
Oh God, the coyotes crying with that baby sound. Where were we going with this?
I don't know.
Coyotes.
Just not wanting to camp.
So what have we learned today? Camping, bad.
3 a.m. walks?
Bad. 3 a.m. walks in the snow. Snow does not deter murderers.
No, clearly it does not, because all they have to do is put on a full ski mask.
Ski mask staring at you, bad.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Staying inside a house, drunk and high, good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Safer. Also, stay away from logging roads and stay away from the creepy little towns that are just outside the wilderness that only have a post office, a gas station, and a bar.
Right. And
especially in the middle of the night.
Let's just stay away from sleeping bags in general.
That's what air mattresses are for, people.
Right.
And if the mood strikes you to go camping because you want to be adventurous, go rent a room at the Four Seasons and don't get all the amenities, and that'll be adventurous for you.
I mean, that's pretty much the same thing, right?
Pretty much. Do a day trip.
Yeah.
Don't stay the night.
Just walk around the woods when it's beautiful and bright out.
You can make s'mores in the middle of the day.
Who doesn't want a s'more in the middle of the day?
You can roast a hot dog in the middle of the day. It doesn't have to be
now
nighttime.
I want s'mores and hot dogs.
Damn it.
Sounds delicious. Not together.
Well, don't knock it till you try it.
Maybe you're onto something.
A little salty and sweet. A little chocolate dog.
Ooh.
Well, if anyone has any spooky ghost stories they'd like to tell us.
Yes, please send them our way.
What's that email, Michelle?
contact@freakyfridayspodcast.com, or go on to our website, freakyfridayspodcast.com, and slide into our DMs on Instagram.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, thank you for listening.
I hope, either got a chill up your spine or a good little laugh out of the story. Who knows?
A laugh, a chill, or some educational information.
For sure. I if anything, I hope you got that. I hope everyone joins us again next Friday.
Yes, for more freaky tales. Don't forget to go to freakyfridayspodcast.com and subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast listening platform.
Join us next week for a new freaky tale.